So, good morning. In continuation, number 2, raloxifene. Approved for prevention and treatment of osteoporosis in postmenopausal women. Has a partial agonist effect on bone. So, like tamoxifen, raloxifene has antagonist effects in breast tissue and reduces the incidence of breast cancer in women who are at very high risk. So the second drug is bazedoxifene, same as the raloxifene almost. A newer SERM is approved for treatment of menopausal symptoms and prophylaxis of postmenopausal osteoporosis in combination with conjugated estrogens. The number 3 is clomiphene. It's a partial agonist at estrogen receptors. It is used to induce ovulation in anovulatory women who wish to become pregnant. By selectively blocking estrogen receptors in the pituitary, clomiphene reduces negative feedback and increase FSH and LH output. So it increases the FSH and LH output. So the increase in gonadotropin stimulates ovulation. The letter B, pure estrogen receptor antagonist, and it has only one drug. There's a fulvestrant. Fulvestrant is a pure estrogen receptor antagonist in all tissues. It is used in the treatment of women with breast cancer resistant to tamoxifen. So, if a woman has breast cancer and it has the resistance of tamoxifen, you can administer fulvestrant. So letter C, synthesis inhibitors. So number 1 is aromatase. And number 1 is aromatase inhibitors. So the example of this is the anastrozole, and related compounds is the example is letrozole. They are non-steroidal competitive inhibitors of aromatase. So the enzyme required for the last step in estrogen synthesis. This enzyme is required for the last step in the synthesis of estrogen. Next is the exemestane. Exemestane is an reversible aromatase inhibitor. These drugs are used in the treatment of breast cancer. So number 2 is danazole. Danazole inhibits several cytochrome P450 enzymes involved in gonadal steroid synthesis and is weak partial agonist of progestin, androgen, and glucocorticoid receptors. The drug is sometimes used in the treatment of endometriosis, fibrocystic disease of the breast. So it is used to treat endometriosis and fibrocystic disease of the breast. So letter D, the gonadotropin releasing hormone analogs and antagonists. The continuous administration of gonadotropin releasing hormone agonists, for example the leuprolide, it suppresses the gonadotropin secretion and thereby inhibits ovarian production of estrogen and progesterone. So as the suppressed gonadotropin secretion, it inhibits the production of estrogen and progesterone. So the gonadotropin releasing hormone agonists are used in combination with other agents in controlled ovarian hyperstimulation and used for treatment of precocious puberty in children and short term. So the short term is less than 6 months. So treatment of endometriosis and uterine fibroids in women. Treatment beyond 6 months in premenopausal women can result in decreased bone density. So the next is letter E, the antiprogestins. So antiprogestins are, one example is the mifepristone, or other term is the RU486. It is an orally active steroid antagonist of progesterone and glucocorticoids. Its major use is as an abortifacient in early pregnancy up to 49 days after the menstrual period. So it is a major use. Its major use is the abortifacient, specifically in early pregnancy. The combination of mifepristone and prostaglandin E analog misoprostol achieves a complete abortion in over 95% of early pregnancy. So the combination of the two, it achieves the complete abortion for over 95% in early pregnancies. So the side effects of this is due to misoprostol, which includes the nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. In addition is the cramping and bleeding associated with the passing pregnancy. So next is androgens. So testosterone and related androgens are produced in the testes, the adrenal, and to a small extent the ovary. Testosterone is synthesized from progesterone and dihydroepiandrosterone. So the hormone is converted in several organs, example, prostate, to dihydrotestosterone, which is the active hormone in those tissues. Because of rapid hepatic metabolism, testosterone given orally has little effect. It may be given by injection in the form of long-acting esters or transdermal patch. Oxandrolone and stanozolol are examples of drugs that, in laboratory testing, have an increased ratio of anabolic androgenic action. But anabolic steroids have full androgenic agonist effects when used in humans. So the anabolic steroids have full androgenic effects when used in humans. So anti-androgens. Reduction of androgen effects is an important mode of therapy for both benign and malignant prostate disease. Prostate disease, precocious puberty, and hair loss and hirsutism. Drugs are available that act at different sites in the androgen pathway. So this illustration represents the process. From hypothalamus, it releases the gonadotropin releasing hormone. The first is the antagonist gonadotropin releasing hormone, and the second is the gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist. Sends to pituitary gonadotropes and releases the LH. Next is the release is LH go to the testis, and it releases again the ketoconazole spironolactone, the number 3, the testosterone. After the next is the testosterone, and so the finasteride releases the 5-alpha reductase, and then the next for testosterone is the androgen receptor complex. But before that, the testosterone releases the dihydrotestosterone, which also release the 3 enzymes, the flutamide, cyproterone, spironolactone. So after that, it becomes the androgen receptor complex. So after the androgen receptor complex is what we call the androgen response element. And the last is the expression of appropriate genes in androgen responsive cells. So that's all.